Hey, meeting, I'll call the meeting to order and take the roll. Our city councilor and advisor, Tia Montero. Here. Board member Eve Mark. Present. Equine people here. Megan Hughes. Here. Cheryl Adams here. And Assistant Library Director Josh Norman. Present. And our leader and our library director, Jennifer Reddy. I just wanted to. Thank you, Kath. Okay. Can I have approval of the minutes of November 5th? I move to approve them. Okay, second, thank you. And Josh, the assistant director report, please.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Okay, so first thing first, looking at November, we had a number of different programs, as we do. On the 2nd, we had a film screening of A Place in the Sun from 1951. Had 5 people. Wednesday the 6th, our board game night also had 5 people. And then on Saturday the 9th, we had a book talk with Jerry Sutherland, author of Bay Ocean, Atlantis, and Oregon. We had 25 people for that one. Super interesting. I don't know how familiar you all with.
I grew up down there.
Yeah. But yeah, people really liked it. I kind of sort of find anything that's it's either straight local history or even tangentially, people are really interested in. So not surprised we folks come out for that one. And then the following week on the 16th, we had a classical guitar concert with Bruce Charles, in which he's a local, he's a Portland-based, classically trained guitarist. He had like stories with the songs, like in between, kind of giving background information and all that. Like sort of music and then talking about the songs. 28, which is really great. That's also one of the things that I've been finding more and more people really like music around here. So I can have almost anybody. I mean, I play guitar. For that, I don't know. So it's good. It's good to get sort of see something like that. So and then on the 23rd for our film screening of Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, we had seven people attend. This month we have 3 things. Actually realized when I was looking at this, our board game night was on the 4th, not on the 11th. You can put that down on how you got the 11th. That was the first thing that we had this month. We did have 9 people, which was really good. It's the most number of people who've come out for a board game night since February. So we now have 2 guys who showed up who played chess with each other. They're chess buddies. The first night they showed up together, they got each other's numbers and they go play chess here for an hour and a half and they go back to one of the other's house and play chess for, I don't know, it's all 2, who knows. But it's really great.
Connected them here.
Yeah, we connected them here. Yeah, now they come. Now they come every.
Live.
Yeah. And now they
And now they what?
And now they coordinate with each other and they show up for first Wednesday, other than next month, for which it's going to be on the 8th. And then the other 7 people, they all just decided on their own to put a couple tables together to play apples to apples. And it was really great to hear just a bunch of people laughing and enjoying over apples, which is fun, you know. So it's a good party game. So and that also included 2 new people. 2 people who showed up in September for the first time, so repeat, and then I kind of have this little core of these 3 people who've been coming most of the month. So as well as Samuel, who's this guy's been showing up almost every single month, who brings games and things like that. So so yeah, so it's really encouraging.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Have folks asked if we could have it more often, or?
Somebody almost always says it, and I'm always like, we've been having like 3 to 4 or 5. It's been so low. I've been feeling weird and like, well, let's expand this out. So many people are coming. But we'll see.
Be kind of.
Yeah.
What's the age?
I run ostensibly adult program, so but I'm not gonna pick out
Okay, so there's not an average.
I mean, it's marketed. It's stated as a board game night for grown-ups, so maybe grown-up is a state of mind.
And what age range is coming, actually, would you say?
Well, that's what I was asking.
I would say late 20s, early 30s through
Young adults,
some, yeah.
but you got some older.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Through like the 2 new people who came by, recent retirees who just want to find ways to meet people in the community. So they saw that you were doing this and they showed up. So they seemed to like it. Yeah. And so, yeah, I pretty much had everything in between that range, like, I would say late 20s to 70s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so.
It might be cool if this is like getting partnerships in the community, but if different groups in the community sponsored one night a month. So, you know, you did them like every Wednesday night, like say maybe Chamber did one Wednesday and STDA did one Wednesday, Rotary did one, like, I don't know, but something like that. Just to involve and attract more people from different groups. Thought.
Great. And then we had just on this last Saturday, we had our monthly in-person author, Zoe Bossier, who's down in like in Cannon Beach area, and they wrote Cactus Country, a boyhood memoir. So there's their upbringing in specifically in a trailer park in Arizona called Cactus Country, and about their sort of journey and sort of being born female, but sort of coming out and presenting as male. And sort of getting to sort of going through that very pivotal stage of like, what does that mean? Who am I talking about?
Who are we?
Who are we? Yeah, I get it. All that kind of stuff is really interesting. And so Zoe did readings of like full chapters from the book, and then use that as a springboard to sort of talk about these key moments in these parts there, and also in the lead up to this event, I worked with Zoe to be able, this was the plan as well of bringing them in for this. In May 3rd, we're going to have Zoe back to do a memoir writing workshop. So this first event, which we had 16 people, if you want to sort of note that, they're able to then have that dialogue and that conversation with somebody who wrote a very impactful, meaningful memoir. I was able to read a little bit on Saturday. I think maybe did you read it?
I read it.
Yeah. This was good.
Yeah,
I didn't have time to read all of it, but I read some just because I wanted to see that. I just couldn't put it down. I was like, I got things to do. But when I was at the front desk and like in between helping with people, I was able to get through some of it. So I'm sure whoever shows up in May, they're going to get a really great master class on memoir writing and how to sort of take your point of view and really use your voice for it. So the people really responded well. So it was a good crew. So
And on that same day, Saturday, did you have art walk?
we didn't.
Because,
I know, it was advertised. I didn't think we were doing it.
yeah, and Chris advertised it too, or,
I didn't know that was on a schedule until I like saw it in a paper the day before.
well, I don't think that it's on a schedule unless the art committee puts it there.
Yeah, so, but we would have needed somebody to keep the library open.
Yeah, I know, that's why I asked, because I saw that it was on. I thought, oh, I knew you weren't here, so.
Yeah, that was news to me, so I let Denise know that we weren't going to be able to be involved in it, because we had it open the month before.
Right,
Yeah, just for that.
right.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
November was our ask, and then we were just sort of put on, like, if I didn't happen to be going through Coast Weekend, I was like, oh, that's a surprise to me. And then they reach out and made a sign and stuff like that again, so.
Oh, good, well, at least you made fun.
Yeah, I thought to make a sign,
Probably
so,
reports of people.
all the, just boarding over, yeah.
Great,
So,
Banging on the door.
yes, banging on the door, so, so that was.
well, that's why I asked, but,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That was our ask, that was our expectation, was to just have the November availability. So. Other than that, we have our December screening this Saturday. We're going to be showing Buster Keaton's The Cameraman. Basically Buster's final really great film. It's really well worth it. It's only 69 minutes long. I've seen it before. It's really fun. It's his last like classic movie. It's his first movie with MGM. The executives at MGM liked it so much they used it as a movie to show people who, when they first started it, this is what an MGM comedy is all about. The irony to that is after this, they basically stripped Buster of all of his creative control after this movie and put him in terrible movies with Jimmy Durante doing like dialogue heavy comedy. If you've ever seen a Buster Keaton movie, his movies, well, they're silent films, are very action packed, basically, and this is really no exception. From 1928, the Criterion Collection edition that we're gonna be showing is a 4K restoration that Criterion did, and they commissioned a brand new score that was recorded in 2020 specifically for the movie. So this is really gonna be a great presentation for folks. And then this is also going to be one that's Paul Albert from New York Film
So
Academy.
these can be live.
Yes, so Paul comes in before the screening, and he gives a whole background of what you're about to see, as well as if it's somebody who's really notable, like Keaton was. I mean, he was a real triple threat of being a director, I mean, more than triple threat, director, gag writer, actor, probably one of the best stuntmen ever in Hollywood. So he'll probably be talking about a lot of that, and then we watch the movie, and then he comes back afterwards and he does a little quiz about the movie, and then he just leads a discussion with even more information. And he does something original for this event. He's not like canning in anything. He's really prepared. He's really, really personable. The people who come really like what he does. So that's our December, at least for adult programs. Then for our teens, on the 4th, they had Lego Day, pretty self-explanatory. They had a whole bunch of Legos up. And then tomorrow, they're doing Manga Truth or Dare. So I talked to Anna, I'm like, what's Manga Truth or Dare? She's like, it's basically just Truth or Dare. We're just.
What is it?
Yeah, so you have to ask the idea, do you want to do a dare, like do something crazy like Anna said? One of our dares is to get the high schoolers to go up to the front desk and ask for a pencil. To get them to engage, right? Because there's this whole thing of like.
Oh, yeah.
The kids these days don't want to interact with anybody in real life.
They don't
It's like,
care.
Wow.
They're one of the devices.
I know they're doing it. Seaside was talking about.
They already did that.
Oh, I've been on.
Yeah, and then also it'd be some kind of truth, tell something yada yada, something that's not super risque, something like sort of fun thing or truth or dare. Yeah.
Good job.
And then
Yeah, very good.
Saturday this week's gonna be the monthly teen book club, and they're gonna be reading What the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, that's at 10. And then the last teen Wednesday of the month is gonna be ugly sweaters and cookie decorating, once again, self-explanatory, I'm sure it'll be glorious and all their ugly sweater glory, so.
And just a reminder about the teen book club, those are self-selected by the teens.
No
So
kidding.
they show up.
Yes,
That seems a pretty heavy book for
a lot of their choices are real meaty ones, for sure, yeah, I mean, there's some serious kids who are thinking about stuff.
So do they choose it this Saturday and then they're supposed to read it for the next month's?
So this is the one they're gonna be talking about.
Yeah, so I think they
So they
chose
read
it.
But they chose it last
Yeah,
month
so I think it's basically.
and they read it during the, yes.
So they interviewed.
I think it'd be like 2 months ago, because I think then Marion orders the books, so that they have some time sort of in between.
Right.
She takes suggestions from the teens and then they vote on them, and then of course she
Wonderful.
reviews all of the titles
Of course.
first. Because some have been a little maybe elevated in content, so we're trying to, keep it.
Is this in person?
That was good.
And how many teams participate roughly?
I think she has like half a dozen or so who typically comes, yeah. Yeah, so that's the teens, for story time, they did tools last week, so all kinds of things, the tools have these little cutouts, and I do a little artwork. Cookies is tomorrow, what day is it? It's Tuesday, Thursday. It seems pretty appropriate, holidays.
Will they get them?
Cookie time. I guess so. And then they're doing fireside stories, well, let's see what kind of stories those are gonna be that we will choose. And that's for story time. And then the youth Lego Club, which is a pretty typical monthly program, is gonna be on the 21st. At 11, and then Jen, we're gonna talk about the winter reading program, grab the shoe.
I don't have it on my list, but if you could.
Yeah, so the winter reading program started on Friday for the kiddos, on Tuesday actually for the adults here. I might as well talk about this here. Did put it on my report, I should have. So in lieu of like cash and prizes for reading or listening to lots of books, what we're doing for the adult, I almost called it adult summer reading, adult winter reading is that for any books that you finish during the month, we have these like paper ornaments are making, people can fill out like their name or initial if they're more comfortable, they feel putting for that. the book that they read or listened to, and then it's going on our tree, on our winter holiday tree, right? So we're leaving a little extra room for that, and so the ornaments are out there on a table there, so.
So an adult can, every book they read can be made into an ornament? I mean,
Yeah,
I know, my God, it's gonna be packed with.
I sure hope so.
I hope so, I think there's like 3 right now.
oh, well.
So you said we're starting on Tuesday,
It started a week ago, so
and that's Friday for,
for the kids, and theirs is running through June.
what's the adult running through?
It's, I think we have it technically through like early January, I think it's like the 3rd, basically,
Basically through January.
for the.
Tell the librarians when we return books to
And we're doing
mention
the
it,
3rd to the 3rd.
because I.
Maybe have the
I-
ornaments at the desk.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have, I think they're at the table.
To January 3rd.
well, I did.
Because the tree's not gonna live too much
It's not
longer.
gonna go
And
like
I
that.
brought in the previous.
Okay. that's
And you
all right.
missed it too.
Yeah.
Through January.
Yeah, and then for the
And Josh,
kids,
just real quick, there was
Yeah,
a suggestion that we should have staff promoting this a little bit more.
The ornaments, yeah.
You know, that when folks are returning books, they like to participate.
oh, yeah, because they're returning books.
Yeah,
I did 3 today.
yeah, I've done it too.
Yes,
So,
so simple.
So,
Why don't we
and
think about
have
this?
the ornaments at the desk.
We're making this too complicated on ourselves.
Yeah.
You guys should be on a library board. That's a great note, yeah, we'll talk to staff. And then for the kids, we're basically doing these reading logs, and so, you know, usually there's gonna be some kind of like charity or something in which the Marion will partner with, especially for the winter reading, and so, this time around it's through, Guide Dogs for the Blind, to prepare highly qualified guide dogs to empower the blind or visually impaired. The services not only improve mobility for their clients, but foster further inclusion in the world around them. So they are looking to, for every 15 minutes read or listened to, they go on the little bit here. So my kids are coloring in a different color. It's usually rainbow color for my kids. They'll go through in there, and their goal is to read 500 hours. And at the end of the winter reading, there's going to be a certain amount of monies that's then going to be donated to the to this organization. So we-
500 hours.
So we've got this for English and it's also
For all
Spanish.
kids, total.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I just, every night. You can't go to bed yet. You gotta read more.
They're partners with the classrooms at the school.
Oh, good.
So she, you know, has, the kids get them as part of their classroom.
Okay, nice.
And then they come in and hand them in during the break.
Cool.
Very nice.
Homeschool kids can do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And it teaches giving as well.
Yeah. And those are available on the desk also?
Yeah, so that's as well as in the children's room, there are a couple like holders on the wall. They're by those those tablets.
You're not closed Christmas Eve?
But I didn't put that on the with signage yet, though. We're closed a little early on Christmas Eve. We're closed at 3 on the, that's signage.
And so the city will be closing early on Christmas Eve, and then,
We're just gonna shut it down.
and normally we would be staying open until 7 on
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, so that seemed a bit excessive, so. One felt a little restrictive, so we decided.
It's a great idea.
3 p.m.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Jonathan. And Jennifer, the library director's report.
So I wrote this before I went to Mexico, this is all, I have to refresh my memory when I wrote. So I just marked down here that the Friends of the Seaside Library and the Foundation joining update. I don't have a
We don't
particular
have an
update,
update.
but it is still in
It's
the
happening.
process and to continue. And last month, we talked about these new phones being installed,
Yeah.
and they have been installed. With very minor hiccups, I think, along the way, we're sort of like working out the kinks of the process of transferring calls, or so far it still seems, you know, pretty self-explanatory, and there are tons of features available. Very few of which we're even using at this point. But if you do have a chance to call the library, either while we're open or after hours, and just give me your feedback on what you hear, because we have an automated message system. Just to get a sense of what the end user experience is. I always think I'm gonna remember to call the library. Funny, I get home and I think nothing of the library.
So it has an automated attendant.
There, it has a,
And
well, it has a, yes, the
Menu.
it has a menu.
And do I have an option if I wanna hear it in Spanish?
Probably not.
That's great,
We need to do that.
yeah.
Sounds good. And then the One Book, One Seaside planning is coming along. We've created the logo in Canva, so I think we're good to go with that. I purchased 50 copies of the book, James by Percival Everett, which of course just won the National Book Award. I still am hoping to maybe have him come to town, but they never responded to my request.
Where does he live?
He lives in California. But you know, he could be busy, but he could also be, you know, somewhere along on the tour and see if we can have him come.
That'd be awesome.
And hold an event, which would be pretty amazing. So we did add between, I can't remember how many Dan added to the collection, but
In addition to the 50?
we had, I think each library had a copy available, so there were already 3 in the system, but the holds list was very long, so long that I ended up just purchasing my own copy in advance of this. So we added a handful, maybe 5, maybe 7, I'm not sure, so that the holds list is a little bit shortened. And
Because the 50 haven't come in yet.
the 50 have arrived. But what we're thinking of doing is having a handful of them in the collection and then the rest of them available, basically give away once we launch the program in April. Well, the program will be in April, but we'll probably launch the program possibly in December, but looking at the calendar, it's feeling like that's an aggressive timeline, so possibly in January. I hope to do it maybe before, you know, the holidays, if folks wanted to take some time.
I think my book club's reading at AA building.
Yeah, so various book clubs around town are reading the novel and so then in April, we'll have book clubs held around town. And an interesting thing came up when I was down in Guadalajara looking for a Spanish version of this. And I got in conversation with some folks about just who had read the book and were familiar with the content. And the conversation was around how challenging it must have been to translate a book into Spanish, which is so focused on these dialects and recent language. So I think that actually was supposed to be an interesting conversation. At some point, I did purchase a personal copy just through Amazon that I found it in Spanish. So we'll see. We'll see if it's even remotely close. Not that I'm well versed in Spanish, but I'll find someone. I'll find someone to
Either
review it.
maybe Minerva or or Consejo. I can't. My brain just went there.
Exactly.
You know who I mean.
Yes.
Norma, thank you.
Now, when you say book discussions led by library staff and at Seaside Brewing, but I mean, how's that gonna work?
So I talked with, is it Ginny over at Seaside Brewing, asked if we could kind of have a space and host a library event over there. So it'll be a book discussion sometime in April. So one of the evenings, probably a Thursday evening. And so it'll be like History and Hops, but it'll be more, you know, grab a beverage, grab some food. And I will at some point, I haven't designed this yet, so I'm making this up, leading a book discussion, sort of
And we're
like,
also gonna do that here.
correct, minus the food and beverage.
And we'll do that in the evening.
Though I'm gonna offer a variety of different times. So I'd like it to be as accessible as possible. I'm also reaching out to the high school to see if it's something that could be either assigned or, you know, recommended, it's like, hey, we want to try this. So we haven't figured out what
And
that'll
it's-
look like yet.
And it's being promoted at Beach Books as well, right?
Yeah, so that we're in partnership with Beach Books on this. So, and this is an inaugural, you know, it's a pilot. So we're gonna see how it goes and, you know, hopefully it'll grow. We'd love to have, you know, Friends and Foundation be the,
Yes.
you know, another sponsor or really, maybe there's a committee around choosing another book or, you know, sort of building, having it sort of move from like, we came up with this idea, now someone else can kind of
Walk
keep
it
it
out.
going. Yeah, so.
And it would be good for like a 3-minute talk at SDDA as well as a short presentation at a chain
Absolutely.
announcement.
And then I also want to share that Seaside Public Library is now officially participating in the Oregon Passport Program. So this is something that Astoria has been a part of. And the neat thing is that, so folks coming to Seaside, if they have a valid library card from somewhere in Oregon that is a participating library, they are able to get essentially a passport library card here. So, and it is limited, so they'll, it's good for up to a year. They can have 3 items at a time, and obviously those items need to
Plenty
be
of them,
returned here, yeah.
plenty of them.
But that also means that if you are a Seaside Library card holder, you can visit another library in the state that's participating and take advantage. And that each library has their own, there's no set standard of what you need to offer or provide. So some libraries might just give you a full, you know, Multnomah library card, and you just now have access to everything that they have access to.
How do we know which libraries participate?
There's a list.
You go
Yeah,
on
there's-
this, which I'm going on right now.
Yep. So there is a, yeah, in my report, it has, there's a link.
website.
Which doesn't
Oh my
work,
God,
but
there's lots of them.
there's lots.
Oh my God.
And you could get one of these,
Got much lighter.
yeah. You could get one of these passport library cards at multiple, you know, like if I go to here and there and there and.
Yep, and so for access to digital resources, that can be a nice,
And Hillsborough is part of it.
there you go. So next time you're in Hillsborough, get the library card. And yeah, so just bring your library card. Again, the feedback would be great if you have an experience, you know, let me know if it's positive or negative. So-
Even some colleges.
Well, that's the other thing I want to
Yeah.
point out is that the Clatsop Community College is also a member. They have an amazing collection of art books and some interesting films, and it's also a lovely space. And Dan McClure, who's the library director, is just a delight, so.
You know, you could promote, you know, about ecotourism, how about book tourism, library tourism? That excites me. It does, really.
So that's pretty good. I'm still recovering literally from Mexico. But I did want to bring, this was the insert. It's kind of hard to see. But this was the facility.
Wow.
You basically can see it from space. If you look up Guadalajara Expo and you are looking on the map, you'll see a big white blob.
Wow.
And it's I mean, I now know how to navigate it because I did it for 4 days straight. But it's pretty phenomenal. A friend equated it to like every single scholastic book fair you've ever been to, all in one room. And all of most of it is in Spanish. There were presenters there, vendors there from international countries. You know, we had Turkish books and Chinese. It's all over the place. So it was quite
Wonderful.
It was quite inspirational. And the really, really cool thing that I think probably the most surprising thing I experienced, and I didn't expect this at all. So the fair is open to professionals, so folks buying books or for libraries, et cetera, during certain hours, and then they open it up to the public during other hours, in addition to those hours. People will wait online, super long lines. waiting to get in, and just with joy, like they are just flocking to this festival. Over the course of, I think it's a total of 8 days that they're running the festival, they have over 800,000 visitors.
Oh my God.
Is it always in Guadalajara?
It is always in Guadalajara.
Where do they come from? The general public people.
That's a good question. I mean, there are over 1 million people in Guadalajara, so, you know, it could be just a lot of local people. But I do know folks who are coming. So,
Okay, all your keys.
I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
yeah, no worries. Yeah, it was, very inspirational.
Did you feel safe there?
I felt very safe.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I did. Took Ubers everywhere. It was like $5 to go between, you know, downtown and the expo. The cars varied, you know, we got into one car. Actually, I did go to Lucha Libre one night.
You went to
Nice, nice.
Lucha Libre.
Free light.
It's like Mexican wrestling,
Oh, my.
and I bought a mouse and a cake.
Oh my God.
Well, we all did. It was kind of.
You got your Halloween costume.
It was an experience. It was like, well, I'm here. It was Tuesday night, might as well. That's probably where I caught my cold. It was quite, and it was wild.
Mexican wrestling.
Yeah, and, you know, very orchestrated but
Yeah.
very, very precise and athletic, and it was phenomenal. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Wow.
But yes, I did feel safe. The weather, you're at about a mile high. So it's, you know, kind of high desert. During the day, it was in the 80s. At night, it would get down to 50. But it was very dry, very dusty. Yeah, it was.
It looked, your Facebook post looked like there was smog.
There were on a few days, but overall, the air quality was pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. And everything was decorated for Christmas.
Of course.
Very festive. And I know I was supposed to say no to everything because Anna reminded me that no is a complete sentence. But I did get talked into being the president of the Libra School Board in.
Really?
Really? I just got back like today, so I haven't even told.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, it's, the woman who is the current president and then the past president, they were all there, and, you know, it seems like a very well-run organization. It's
For you.
highly functioning, so.
And you're the president.
Apparently.
Not just a member.
No,
Exactly.
Of course you.
Why are we not?
Yeah.
So I'll go, obviously I'll be at the OLA in April again this year, and, you know, we'll be drumming up interest in having additional libraries participate, and the format is pretty cool. We're a subset of Reforma, which is the services to Spanish speaking populations in libraries. And so I'll be involved with that group a bit more. So-
Wonderful.
And after about 4 days, I forgot I didn't speak Spanish. So,
You forgot you didn't speak Spanish?
yeah, I just was like in places and feeling like I knew what was going on. And then I remembered like, oh wait, I don't actually speak Spanish. But it was beginning to feel more.
It was confusing her system.
It was confusing. So,
When you get to dream in Spanish is when you.
Yeah, but I find, having studied German in high school, when I go to Germany, all these words keep coming back.
They do, it will.
yeah. So, and I was able to connect, I can't remember if I told you about the school that I was working with in Guatemala, that I've been involved with for several, now over a decade, Puerta Abierta. And so I got to see Amanda and Juanita from there. And
In person.
in person. It was so crazy to like be standing in our hotel waiting for a shuttle bus to this event. And, you know, there's Amanda and, you know, then, and also colleagues from my previous library, names a bunch of folks. there.
Wonderful.
So it was-
That's
reconnect with a bunch of people and walked a lot.
And then you had to get a cold.
And then I got a cold. But I went to the zoo and I got on the tequila train, you know, did all the things, so.
What's a tequila drink?
That's how you get rid of your cold.
So apparently Jose Cuervo hosts there's a train that takes you from Guadalajara out to the town of Tequila. And they talk to you
There's
about,
a town called Tequila.
yeah, in Jalisco. And so you learn all about, you know, origin of tequila and
The
how it's
worms.
made and. Yeah, I did not participate in any of those. And then we had, you know, like a Mexican show and then we walked around town.
Wonderful.
And
And it was warm the whole time.
it was, you know, a little chilly at night, wear a coat. It was funny because, you know, we're all excited, I'm wearing flip flops every day. And in the mornings and evenings, it would get, you know, be 50s and like puffy jackets and
Yeah.
Right.
boots and everything. Yeah, really.
Then you know where it goes.
Sweater weather.
Was air conditioned though, this building?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, the field was very air conditioned.
Good.
Those are nice.
That's how sometimes I get colds though, from
The recycling.
going in and out of air conditioning.
Can I go back and ask you about the
Yes.
passport program?
Uh-huh.
If I check a book out at the Pendleton Public Library this Friday when I'm there, do I have to take it back to Pendleton? I can't bring it here, can't
We
check
don't,
it in here?
we don't have a way to get it back to them,
Got it.
other than mailing it. And that,
So I have to be there at least 2 days, so I can read the book.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah,
Or you could mail it back.
Or maybe I'm just gonna go around the state collecting library.
like both.
Yeah. That's to go with my Library of Congress.
Thank you,
library
Jennifer.
card.
And old business, the onboarding plan for new board members, we have a link there. Is that for the
So this,
application?
this link is actually, it takes you to, an Oregon State Library, lit guide page that sort of talks about the structure of what you might need for a handbook, so I figured,
Oh, the
instead
handbook.
of for us maybe reinventing the wheel, we could use
Mhm.
that as a framework, and build off of that. So
Sounds
Is that
good.
what the one that I brought you, that really old one?
it's a little more robust, but yes.
Yeah. Okay, and any questions about that?
So you're gonna create a handbook for Seaside,
We are, but we're gonna
Board
base it,
members.
yeah, we're gonna base it on,
For new board members.
right?
yeah, base it on this, the state library resource.
Very good.
And the 3D printing policy and procedure.
That is, it's currently in the hands of the city, so John and Spencer are reviewing it and we're just gonna determine if it needed to be reviewed by
The attorney.
the attorney, so it's in process, but
Does it have to be reviewed by the city attorney?
that's what we don't know yet.
Oh,
So Spencer and John, we're gonna take a look and then see if it's something that needed to have a little more verbiage about what you can and can't do.
I would think the lawyer would have to see it,
Yes,
especially with what happened in New York.
yes, I think things have probably shifted, so,
Yes.
but I would,
What's that?
shifted what?
Because the shooter used a 3D gun.
Oh, I didn't even think about it.
And that also made they call it suppressive, it's like a silence.
You did that on 3D printer also?
That's why it was fumbling, because worked with the first time.
Horrible.
So we'll probably have some additional restrictions on our service. And then the website is, we're still in progress, we're still in progress.
That's good though, you're still working on it, right?
Yeah,
Great.
Is there any new business?
I didn't put everything. the new business.
That's a big zero.
Big zero.
Okay. Good. The next meeting is on January 7th.
Does that when the new board members come?
No,
No.
we've started, it was announced at city council last night. So, we're soliciting applicants. The first applications that the city council will even look at will be at our city council meeting the second Monday of January. At that point, then it's up to the city council to nominate people to be interviewed. And then it usually takes another 2 weeks before we interview them, and then we can make decisions. So there's still a lot of time left to go out and recruit people.
So there probably won't be 2 new board members until the March meeting.
So
I
let's
would
be
say
fair.
maybe by the end of January, it could happen. If enough applications came in by the end of December, I would say. Excuse me, that would give the council time to
Anyway.
actually get people interviewed and
February or
maybe
March.
Maybe, I'm gonna make a note for myself of something to discuss when we meet in January is whether or not we wanna think about moving the meeting time.
Oh,
Earlier
So-
or later, what do you think?
I think the idea of making it a little bit later to make it more accessible to folks.
For working people.
Because it used to be 5.
at one time I thought, no, I'm thinking.
When I started, it was at 5.
Yeah,
when I
that's
started,
right.
it was at 5. Yeah. To accommodate working people, yeah.
So I know of two potential
When I started at 5, then up to 4:30, then. Yeah.
Okay.
One of them is just texting me right now.
And one thing I'll need to figure out about a later time is whether or not it conflicts with the other meetings.
Zoom.
Let's see,
Yeah.
this is first Tuesday. I think that's planning commission.
Right, so we sometimes will butt up with Jeff.
I'm gonna miss you all.
Yeah.
Yes, now
we miss
when are
you
you
too.
moving?
Oh, you'll be far.
When did you move?
April,
Oh, okay.
Where are you moving to?
Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Wow,
Nice
long
area.
ways away.
Nice
Near the metro, are you gonna be right near the metro stop? Or
No, not really close.
And
Not
why are
very
you
close
going
to
there?
Maryland.
You got family?
When I'm getting married.
You're getting married?
Oh, you didn't know?
No.
In Chevy Chase or
We're
getting
getting
married?
married here March 1st, and I'm getting married with a Jewish ceremony
Okay.
in on May 4th,
A mazel.
back there, back east, so his family can come.
May the 4th be with you.
Who's
That's when our Anna got married this year.
Anna?
She's one of our staff.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Felicidades.
There is no public to make public comment, and before I adjourn the meeting, I would like to make a comment after 11 years. That emotional.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still on the art committee, which meets tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'll still be here, but it's been an adventure. And something I've really grown in and appreciated all the board members and directors that I've worked with. And, you know, I have my favorites, but I won't say who. And I made you all a little bookmark. I'm not an artist, but
How sweet.
there you go. I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you for being a share so long, being on the committee so long, for everything you've done. Oh, how pretty.
How long was I on the committee? 3 years?
How long was what?
I don't know. 3 years.
Well, it would have been a 4-year term, and I think your term is up at the end of this.
Never mind, and it was here in 2020 in the summer, so. But it must have been, maybe it was 2 years.
You've been either somebody to.
No, it's
It couldn't have been 4 years.
Maybe the option
Yeah.
I have not, but I know yours is up at the end of this month.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know how long it's been. I thought it was 3 years, it's really nice. I'm so glad you did
But
that.
I'm being an artist.
Yes,
My
artist.
God, yeah, he is an artist.
Oh, here we go, that's yours.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's that way. Cool. This is for Josh.
Okay.
So with all of that,
Wow, meeting adjourned.
woo-hoo. The meeting is adjourned.